So when are you guys gonna move into your own place in Toronto? You know?
Buy our own house in Toronto?
Yeah, our house, our apartment. Come on, it's gotta be possible. We just gotta sell off an arm.
Yeah. Donate my
more.
heart and my kidneys and my liver, maybe. And even then, that wouldn't be enough for the down payment.
Yeah, that won't be enough.
Actually, thinking of it now, one of our friends moved to Oshawa, the other one went to Hamilton. We're all running away.
Everyone's leaving.
Oh.
That's life in Toronto.
Good luck.
Welcome to Garth Spotlight. Oh, as you guessed from our intro, we're talking about living in Toronto. And right now what we have here is Kareem, the Snake Man.
He's back. The
Back
snake
with
is
my
back.
snake.
Yeah. And Kareem's actually moved here when he was 18. So it'll be an interesting perspective from his point of view. And then we have Mr. Canada. And he's been here all his life.
It's the very beginning.
Yeah, so he's seen it. He's lived with the Leafs for such a long time with their hope of winning.
Yeah.
So-
Well, let's not get into that. That's another podcast. That's another episode within itself.
And
Leafs.
me, on the other hand, I came here when I was a little baby, so I don't even remember my country.
Yeah, so you and I mean, I was born here, but you came here when you were a toddler. And we grew up here. Krim, you immigrated here, right?
Yeah.
So we got a couple of different perspectives here, right? And you grew up in a household with immigrant parents. One of my parents is an immigrant. The other one grew up in Canada.
Yeah.
And so like it's a very kind of mixed perspective here, right? About how we grew
Well,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
That's Toronto.
Yeah, and that's a key thing here. It's this multiculturalism. It is wide here. So a lot of people who come here, they think Canadians and they all expect everyone to be white and like that's it you see in the streets. But you come here, you get a little taste of the whole world.
Yeah. It's like we did Sammy and I did some research before this episode, and they said like what 46 or 48%.
Nearly 50, like 48%. Yeah.
Nearly 50% of the population of Toronto is immigrants.
Yeah.
So I'm not the only one.
Yeah, it's a big thing, and it brings a big unique aspect to Toronto, where you can get shawarma or Chinese food, and you can jump right to Little Italy. Like there's
Portugal, Little Pakistan, Little India. You can go anywhere, and you can get all kinds of different cuisine from all around the world. Ethiopia, Somalia.
Yeah, and
all these different restaurants are here.
And the thing is, like in a normal lifespan, you will hit up so many stores that all these foods will come natural into your diet. You'll be like, oh, this is normal.
Yeah, this Chinese food. This is like Indian food. This is
Middle Eastern, like Arabic,
Yeah.
or Greek.
And then we get those traps of fast food, which isn't a part of anything.
Nope.
It's just fast food.
That's
Nope,
just
just fast food.
that's American. That's American. So that's a little bit of the culture too. It's American fast food.
It's like I remember have a little story in here. It's like I've been talking to my parents and I told them that ever since I came to Canada, I've made friends with people from all around the world, from Europe to Asia. Met one guy from Australia. It's like basically everywhere. Natives, like
Yeah.
Everywhere. There's a little bit of the world in Toronto. Right?
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say,
That's
right?
good,
Like there's and there's so many different communities, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to see, you can experience something different every day almost. I had a friend of my father's. She came here from Buffalo, which is like literally 90 minutes south of the border in the United States. And when she came here, she saw people walking on the street, kids and stuff, and she was like, none of them are white. It's like I'm not used to. It's like I'm not used to that, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does bring a new eye-opening perspective. Especially my cousins that came over, they were surprised. They're like, "Wow, what? There's actual multiculturalism? Like, I did not expect this."
yeah,
So many different religions, and it's pretty cool. It's
I know.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
different languages. It's like at my old workplace. You know, I learned English and Spanish in high school.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So in my old workplace, I met one person that spoke French and another person that spoke Spanish. I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you Toronto is a pretty amazing place.
Yeah.
Problem is adapting.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah. Adapting's tough for a lot of people, and
I'll throw the first thing I do to adapting is TTC.
yeah, that's a big one. That is a big one. It's a good point you brought up. So in Toronto, we just have TTC in Toronto. Let's say that for now. The GO bus takes you from Toronto to the outer areas such as Oshawa or Hamilton.
The suburbs, the burbs.
So it's not as built up in that sense. So for getting around Toronto, you're perfectly fine. But if you want to go out of Toronto, you're going to have to take the GO. And then there's the Viva and Brampton Transit.
Now you're just confusing
Yeah,
them.
you can
There's three main things, but the two that we're going to talk about is GO and the TTC. That's where we're going to
And
stick
the TTC, if you ever we should put up a map here because like the TTC map is hilarious. If you're from New York or Chicago
TTC
or LA
subway
or
map.
London,
Yeah.
the TTC subway map, excuse me, yes, the train map. If you're from Chicago, New York, LA, or London, you'll laugh when you see the TTC map. It's literally just a U and a line through it, and then a couple of things at the top. They're expanding upon it, but it's so small. And it's very
it's small and it's non-functional.
it's functional,
It
but
is functional.
it's functional, but it's not.
How many escalators break down on a daily basis?
Yeah.
I still I have
Okay.
walked up steps when I was beaten up from kickboxing, and I look up the stairs and the escalator is broken. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
They're working on it. They are improving.
working on
Yeah,
it for the
yeah.
last 10 years.
I mean, I did live in England for 2 years in London, or just outside of London, and the tube is just like, it's so efficient, and you can literally go everywhere. You can go into like the suburbs of London through the underground, the tube. I mean, we just don't have that luxury here. You can get to Scarborough, like at the very beginning of Scarborough.
Beginning of Scarborough,
which is basically east.
And
east of
the
here.
thing about
Yeah.
traveling in Scarborough is the buses take a long time. Toronto is like the core of Toronto. The buses come every 5 minutes or like 10 minutes. But Toronto, it'll come like Scarborough, it'll come like every 10, 15 minutes, which brings us hassle because there are long roads in Scarborough.
Okay, I think they should know that Toronto is divided
Yeah.
into.
We're so used to it.
If you ever heard the term "the Six," made popular by Drake, of course, it's because Toronto is actually 6 cities.
Or
There's
6 sections.
Six sections of a
six
city.
sections. There's like Mississauga, Vaughan, North York,
Scarborough, East York.
Scarborough, East York, and
Downtown.
There we go.
That's a 6. Yep. And that's literally why it's called the
That's
6.
why it's called the 6. It's a trendy thing, but there's logic behind it. So yeah.
And it's big. It's huge.
It is. At times it'll be frustrating if you don't have a car. If you're relying on TTC 90% of the time, you can get to one side to another, no problem. It's just expect delays. Like I leave work 30 minutes, like I leave my house 30 minutes early to get to work. And still I'll be late some days.
I travel north, so it's easier for me. I mean, if you go south into downtown, I used to work downtown. Oh man, it's like Times Square. It's just so busy. It's so crowded.
Packed.
And yeah, like the waits can be killer, and you're packing yourself onto a streetcar or a bus, and it's just there's always somebody's like elbow sticking into your chest,
yeah.
or somebody's like hip ramming into your side. It's really annoying.
Yeah, mostly we use the TTC to get downtown. Yeah. Whoa, that's where I want to jump into downtown and the luxuries of downtown, right?
Oh yeah. Downtown's fun. It can be a bit sketchy, but downtown's fun.
Yeah, it depends where you go.
Depends where you are. It depends where you are. But I enjoyed. I like.
But downtown's where like Little Italy is, Chinatown, and it's like if you want the most multiculturalism, you go downtown.
Those parts are great. Like Chinatown's amazing. I love Chinatown.
And the food's amazing. Like every corner of that place has something you never tried before. I had churros down there. Mexican food, Italian food, Chinese food. I had everything, man. It's like coolest center, right. Yeah.
It's the coolest thing because you'll be in Chinatown and then you'll turn a corner and then there'll be like a row of Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
It's so cool. You could like you could be in Chinatown, but you could get something completely different outside of that food, or outside of that cuisine, which is so awesome. Yeah.
And you get cuisine from all around the world without leaving your city.
Yeah, and you know when we have TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival, whenever they ask actors, I usually see them say this when they're like, Sandra Bullock or George Clooney, what do you think of Toronto? I love the restaurants. They usually say that. Yeah, because you get everything here.
You can grab that and go to Harbourfront, which is just like a port for ships and
right on the lake.
It's right on the lake.
It's on the lake. Harbourfront's on the lake.
It's not a port. I would say more like a marina.
Marina?
Yeah, it's more like a marina. That's a good way. That's a good way to describe it.
It's a nice place. You grab your food, sit down in the summer. It's beautiful. It is, and it's always live there. There's a lot of bars. There's a lot of restaurants around there, and a nice cafe. And you just go relax.
In the summer, it's great. Don't do it in the winter.
You'll freeze your ass off.
I just want to go skating. That's the one thing about Toronto, and a lot of people say this who first move here. It's got the 4 seasons. You get a proper summer, winter, and then fall and spring. Mm-hmm. Given current conditions on Earth, that's starting to change a little bit, but
global
you still
warming.
get unfortunately.
No,
you still get the 4 seasons.
Oh no, it's just very extreme now. You either get a ton of snow or no snow at all. A ton of rain. Like we're getting bashed with rain.
Lately we are.
Yeah, and it's gonna get worse. They predicted like a huge rainfall coming up soon too, right? So it's like we get the extremes right now.
And the summers are hot.
It's either really
For me
mild
anyways.
or really hot.
Yeah.
This summer wasn't too bad. It had its 2 or 3 weeks where it went crazy.
It wasn't that bad.
I wasn't here. I don't know.
You were back home.
You were back home. Yeah. Wasn't that bad. Yeah.
I know.
But no, you get the 4 seasons here, which is really nice. Winters are always fun. You know, I have fond memories of going ice skating and playing hockey on the natural rinks and stuff like that. So
Building snowmen.
having
Snow
snowball
angels.
fights. When it gets really slushy, you can pack it in tight and it just
Yeah.
explodes on impact. Yeah,
I
stuff
love
like
snowball
that.
fights.
Ah, so much fun. Great memories doing that.
Yeah.
Rolling a giant snowball across the school field growing up.
Which was
Yeah.
fun at my old public school. They don't even do it anymore because someone got hurt. But it was literally, we had classes that do snowball fights, and it's just a warfare. We
Yeah.
have our snow forts, and then it's just
Build a
warfare.
fort.
Everyone's just tossing
You
it.
got your ammo in
Yeah.
the corner.
Yeah.
Got your snowballs, you just pack them in. It's so much fun.
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
brutal though. I
Yeah.
think they stopped because a kid threw a rock in there.
Yeah, it always something
Someone-
like that always happens.
Someone
Of
ruined
course.
it. Someone
Bobby put a rock inside the snow, so now we can't play
Like-
because Bobby's a jerk.
Dirk, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was fun because it was an entire school participating, so you could just
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah. It is fun. It gets really intense. Like it
Yeah.
gets heated too. Like,
People steal forts and we get pissed off. Like we were
Yeah.
angry
We were
about
still
snow.
forwards, yeah. I remember one time one kid just dashed along the field and he just knocked over somebody's snow fort. Like, you can't do that. You cross no man's land. It's the perfect combination of fun and ridiculous.
I bring to our school system, and all of us went through. Well, we went through public and elementary. You
Alright.
came to our universities, right?
Yeah.
So you have a little taste of our public school system. What do you think of it compared to back home?
I don't know because I
Well,
went to
university.
York University.
University, not public
Don't
school.
worry
Yeah.
about public school.
Yeah,
I'm more curious
not
about
interesting,
university.
yeah.
Yeah, public
But
school you learn nothing.
University is pretty much the same. It's like I wasn't used to how big York University was going to be. Like,
It's
for
huge.
those who don't
Massive.
know, Google York University in Toronto. That's like one of the biggest campuses in here. It's huge.
I went there. When I was there, it was about 50,000 students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was,
It's probably more now.
Probably like around 60 now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people,
Mhm.
and I was not used to that.
Right.
But except from that, it's pretty decent. The classroom are huge.
Yeah.
But then that's pretty much the same thing in all colleges and universities. You get a lot more freedom.
Oh yeah, yeah. They don't really care after a certain point.
Yeah, that's one thing that struck me straight up. Is like you get to choose whatever you do.
No one's gonna pick up after you.
Yeah, it's like I had a prof. It was one of my 8 a.m. classes too. It's like the prof knew that half of his students didn't come to class because it was that early, and it was like first year college students that were always partying and stuff. And he was like, "I get paid whatever you do.
Yeah.
The fact that you come to class, the fact that you don't come to class, the fact that I fail you, the fact that I pass you,
Yeah.
I'm still getting
Same
paid.
page.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do whatever you want."
I love that perspective, but at the same time, it does throw you in the deep end because if you're not organized that first year, you can really lose yourself.
Yeah,
and
you lose yourself
so easy.
fast.
Students, I remember like half of the students that I saw in my first year classes left or quit or failed because they weren't taking it seriously.
In university, you'll notice one thing: first year, massive classes. Second year, it's a little smaller. Third year, it's really tiny.
It gets more focused. Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
and then the fourth year, it's just the hardcore people that actually want to
you know
Graduate,
graduate.
everybody in the
graduate and
class.
get your degree, and,
And they actually
seminar,
care,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like seminars instead of lectures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also hate our universities for doing this, but creating competition within the kids. So we're students, and they would try to make that competition where someone has to be on top of each other. And that's the thing about business. When I went there, it's always this like, we have to be the best in class. But in my perspective, it doesn't matter. We're getting a degree at the end of it. So what happens if we all get it at one time?
It is a good blueprint for life, though. I mean, like, you even look at us with the show. Like, you know, how many people are going to make episodes similar to what we're doing, or how many people are we competing with to get these videos seen, right?
Right.
I look at it kind of like that. So in that perspective, it is kind of important. As much as I dislike it, it is important, right? To have that kind of,
University students are straight up vicious, so be careful with that.
They're fine.
Well, when they're studying, when they're studying, outside they're chill. They're no university students on the other hand are
I used
lucky.
to get like this in my mind. I'd see all these students lining up for exams. I'd be like, I'm gonna do better than all of you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you're not gonna pass the way I'm gonna pass.
For me, it was just like, I see a group of people, I'm just like, do they have my notes? Are we all on the same page? We either fail together or pass together. That's how I want it set up.
Yeah.
I want that group.
I had some groups like that.
I see the people, I'm like, oh man, these people know how much trouble I am right now.
Yeah, everyone walks in. I remember walking into an exam and I'm just like, it's either I know nothing or everything. That's the two extremes. That's it. So
We're all in this together, guys.
and there's some exams I went in, the guy in front of me flipped the paper and he was just shocked. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh no. What's going to happen to me? Flip it over. I'm like, oh no, this is easy. What's going on? So there are extremes that.
Yeah. There's always that one guy that doesn't have a clue what you're talking about. It's like, you do a question, everybody answered 3.5, you answered Paris. And
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah. Multiple choice questions are the best for that.
Yeah.
Everyone chooses A and you're the only one who chooses B. I'm like, okay, I got that wrong. Guess I got that wrong.
sometimes you're the only one that got it right.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, that's basically a little sum of living with Toronto. And actually, we do have Life in Toronto. We do have an episode on that. If you want to check it out, it talks more about the events, a lot of the film locations that a lot of people take here. And
Yeah.
we go into
Nice to
depth.
see stuff like that.
Somewhere up here. Well, up here.
Yeah. Or right on me, right here.
Right, covering Garth's head.
So, with that said, Garth Spotlight, right here, we have the Snake Man, Mr. Canada, and of course, I'm Garth. We will catch you another time. Take care, guys.
Later.
Subscribe.
Right.
Thank you for watching. If you like what you saw, you can check out the next video here. If you're in a daring mood, you can select a random video here.